Hey guys, Mike here at MH Tutorials, and welcome back to a new video. Alright, well today we're going to do another subscriber request, and this one was fairly specific. I got a request from someone who is creating a game scene, and he's creating a dungeon. And he asked me to explain how to create dungeon segments that can be duplicated, so he doesn't have to create one big scene, but can kind of use building blocks, if you know what I mean. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a dungeon wall with some columns and a floor in a way that we can duplicate that and use that as we need. All right, so we're going to start with a simple polygon plane as our initial wall, and we'll hit E and we'll rotate that, and we'll set that to minus 90 degrees. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll hit Control D to duplicate that, hit W, pull that over, and actually we'll rotate this guy back to 0. Okay, we're going to hit W, we're going to pull it down a bit, and I'm just going to turn off my grid here. So display grid. All right, now I don't want my floor to be that flat, so I'm going to go to Insert Edge Loop, Option Box. Let's do 4 subdivisions to keep it fairly low, and we'll add them there, and we'll add them right there. Okay, Q on our keyboard. I'll close this out, and we're going to right-click and go to Vertex, and I'm going to hit B on my keyboard to initiate soft select. Oh, hang on. And I'm going to hold down B and left click and drag to kind of influence the impacted area. Okay, and I'll just take one of these. Actually, before we do that, just go back one step. We're going to right click, go to edge, and I'm just going to double click on these edges like so, and I hit W and I'm going to raise them up just slightly. And the reason for that is I want to have a little bit of a curve in my floor like this before I do anything else. Okay, sorry about that. All right, right click vertex, hit B again for our soft select, and we'll just manipulate a few. And don't go nuts on that, because if you do that too much and you duplicate your floor, you're going to see a very distinct pattern. You don't really want that. Okay. Okay. So let's add some texture to this guy. Hit B to turn off my soft select. I'm going to right click, go to object mode. There we go. And first we're going to UV it. So UV, planar mapping. I'm going to go to UV and UV editor to see what I got here. And we have a little bit of a funky layout here for some reason. Not quite sure why. Let's try a different projection. Right click object mode, minimize that. UV automatic, UV editor. That's much better. Okay. So right click UV. Here we go. Looks all good. And next we're gonna right click, go to object mode, right click, assign new material, Lambert, hit our checkered box, select file, folder, and I have a dungeon floor material right here, which doesn't look bad at all. Let's just see if the spacing is all right. So select it, UV and UV editor, and we're going to hit W over here, right click shell, let's do that. We're going to pull it towards the middle, and then we're going to hit R, and we're going to kind of scale that out to create a slightly better fit. Yeah, that works. Okay. Now this is completely flat, so what we're going to do is we're going to create an additional bump map as well. So we're going to go into Photoshop, just close down whatever I got going on here. We're going to go to File, Open, and on my desktop I have my dungeon floor. There we are. I'm going to go up to Image Adjustments and Black and White, and OK. And let's see if I can do something with auto contrast. Not too much, but it's okay. All right, so I'm going to go on File, Save As, and I'll just call this Dungeon Floor Bump. Save that out. We're going to go back to Maya. I'm going to right-click, go to Object Mode. I'm going to look for the material that I created, which is this guy. Scroll down to Bump Mapping. Select my checkered box. Select File. On my File tab here, I'm going to look for my bump map, which is this guy right here. And now we can kind of check out whether this is the level of bump that we want or not by going in here and tweaking the bump value. You can, bring that up or down. Now you can see if you do this, it doesn't look right. So just want to get to the point where it's believable. Okay. All right. So we got that. Now let's focus on our wall here. And we're not going to do too much to that. We'll do, let's see, edit mesh. Sorry, insert edge loop tool. We're still at 4, so we'll do 4 here and 4 here. Close that out. Q on our keyboard. Right click, go to vertex. Hit B for soft select. Hold down B and left click and drag so you can kind of, see what area you want impacted. And we're not going to go nuts here. Hit W, just some very slight tweaks, just so not everything looks identical. Okay. All right, so we got that. We're gonna right click, go to object mode and select it. UV automatic projection, UV and UV editor. Okay, looks fine for now. We're gonna apply a material to it. So again, right click object mode, right click assign new material, Lambert. We're gonna go up and we'll hit our checkered box here, select file, folder, and I'm gonna look for my dungeon, this one. And as you can see, it's not positioned correctly, at least not quite sure. I think it should be rotated, maybe. We'll select it. We're going to go to UV and UV editor. Right click shell. Let's see what happens when we rotate it. Yeah, for some reason that looks a bit better. Okay. We're going to right click and go to shell. Hit W, move it over into our 0 to 1 space, and then hit R and kind of pull that up until we have a better fit. Okay, that's not bad. Now we're going to do the same deal with the bump map. So we're going to go back to Photoshop, File, Open, Dungeon, this one. And we're going to go to Image Adjustments, Black and White. That's fine. File, Save As, and we'll call this Dungeon Bump. There we go. Save that out. Okie dokie. Back to Maya. Right click Object Mode. This is the material that we created. We're going to go into Bump Map, checkered box, File, File, Folder, and Dungeon Bump. There we go. And again, we have to determine what the appropriate depth is for this. So we're going to go to this guy and we're going to pull down our bump value to, and we'll just zoom in a bit. 0.23, let's try that. Maybe less, 0.2. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right. Okay, now we're gonna move this guy over. And move that down. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll create a column, okay, a concrete column. So what we'll do is we'll take a something like this. We'll move that in, and we'll just position it from our top view. Hit 4 to zoom in. Let's move that over here and check from this view to see if I'm sitting okay there. Yeah, looks like. I have to zoom in, and can't really snap it because the wall isn't perfectly straight anymore. We're gonna hit R, we're gonna scale that up. And from this view, by hitting 4, we're gonna right click and go to vertex. Take the top vertices and bring them up. Take the bottom 2. And again, because the floor isn't perfectly flat, we're gonna hit F to zoom in so we can kind of eyeball that. All right. Then we're gonna go in to Mesh Tools, Individual Tool, Option Box, Single Setting. Actually, we'll do multiple setting. We'll do 2, and then we'll add them right there. And we'll hit R, and we'll kind of stretch them out, like so. And then we're gonna right click, go to Face, take, whoops, Face. And we're gonna go to Edit Mesh and Extrude. Let's check here. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so that's that. Now we need to texture this, and to be honest, I didn't find a texture yet, so I'm just going to quickly pause the video and Google a file. I'll be back in a sec. All right, guys, I found a rock texture that I kind of like, so I'm going to use that. So I'm going to right-click, go to Object Mode. We're going to select this guy. We're going to go to UV and Automatic Projection. Let's go to UV and UV Editor. Let's see what we got. So we're going to right-click, go to Shell. And as we move around, okay, this is our front, as you can see on the left. So we're going to take that, we're going to move that over here, and I'm going to right click, go to edge, take that, move and so, move and so, move and so. And then let's see what we got here. Right click shell. Okay, so I'm looking for the front part of the bottom column. There we are. So we're going to hit W. Let's move that up here. We're going to right click at an edge, and we're going to do the same process. Move and so. Let's see, this guy. Move and so. And I'm just stitching it together. All right. We're going to right click, go to shell. We're going to select the whole deal, and we're going to go to polygons and layout. This is all positioned correctly. And then we're going to right click, go to object mode, select it, right click, assign new material, Lambert. I'm going to go into my checkered box and select file, folder. Here's my rock material. Okay, not bad. Let's quickly create a bump for that. So we're going to go back to Photoshop. And obviously I'm speeding through this fairly fast. I suggest that you take a little bit more time to make it nice and clean. Let's see, we're going to go to what was that again? Image, adjustments, and black and white. I just don't want to have this take forever. Okay, and we're going to go to File, Save As, and we'll call it Rock Bump. Okay, save that out. Going to go back, and we're going to go into the material. So select it, this guy, go down to bump mapping, select File, Folder, and Rock Bump. There you go. And let's just see the depth here. It's a bit much. So let's bring that down. The other ones were around 0.2. Guess that looks okay. All right. Okie dokie. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, Control D to duplicate, move that over, and hit E to rotate that around to minus 180. And just hit W and bring that in just a bit. Then I'm going to take this guy, hit Control D to duplicate, bring that over here. And from our top view, let's bring that in. And this guy apparently needs to come in as well. All good. So we got that. And then what we'll do is we'll take the floor, Control D to duplicate, pull that up, hit E to flip that over to minus 180. And then from this view, hit W and pull that down. And I'll hit 4 for wireframe mode so we can kind of see it better. All right. So we got all that. What we're going to do next is we're going to drag select all of this. Okay. And we're going to hit Control G to group it. We're going to go to Windows Outliner, double click on that and call this dungeon underscore segment. And this is our wall 1, floor, ceiling, wall 2, pillar 1, and pillar 2. There we go. All right, let's see if we need to tweak this a little bit. We don't want any light coming through there, so all right. So we got that. Now, as I said, it's a group, so we can just select it. And we're going to move to this view right here. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate it and move that over. Have to zoom in and make sure there are no gaps in between. Oops. All right. And now if you hit Shift D. Let's try that again, guys. My apologies. Let's see. Yeah, we got one copy going on. I'm so sorry. Come on. What the frick is that? Windows Outliner group. There we go. Control D to duplicate. Move it over. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. So now, if you look in here, you got this initial setup. I'll set up my resolution gate. Okay, so let's bookmark this. View bookmark, edit bookmark. We'll call it new and apply and minimize that. We'll add some light, and also we don't want to look at the open end of this tunnel here. So what we'll do is we'll take this last one here, outliner. That should be that one, yeah. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. We're going to pull that out, hit E to rotate. -90. We're going to hit W. We'll just do that from the top here. So I'll put that there, right? We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. -270. And because we turn this into a group and not one single mesh, what we can now do is we need to get rid of these first 3 sections there, right? So I'm just gonna go to object mode and select all this, hit Control H to hide that. We still got our 2 columns there, but that's fine. We can just delete that. And then we're going to go back to display, show all. So now if we go to our bookmark, you got that going on, all right? Now let's add some light. So we're going to go to create lights, and let's do a spotlight. And let's move that into the end here, like so. F to zoom in, T to point it. So we're going to point it in this direction. And from height point of view, let's do that. And then we're going to hit 7 on our keyboard. And we're going to go to our bookmark. And you can see that we have some light at the end of the tunnel there. And let's change the color to kind of a dark green, not too dark. That's about right. And let's see. Yeah, that's fine. And then what we'll do is we'll do one in front here. So we'll go to create light and spotlight once again. And in this case, let's move this to the beginning of our tunnel. Pull that up somewhat. This guy looks about right. Raise that up maybe a little. And that one, we'll kind of make that red, but not that red, just slightly. Okay. Let's go to view bookmark new. All right. Let's see. We are going to tweak the cone angle. So we'll just pull that up. And let's raise that up slightly. Let's see. What we'll do is we'll we'll bring down the intensity a little bit. Okay. And then, oops. And then we'll go back to our green one. So we're going to go to Window, Outliner, and that's our other spotlight. This guy, this is our green one. It's a bit too green. So let's tweak the intensity a bit. And you can add that in any way you want, all right? So that's kind of a way you can go with this. One important thing to remember here is the reason why I group this and I group the pillars individually is to allow you to go around the corner and create additional segments without having to take your image apart, all right? So that's pretty much it. Hopefully it was helpful. And again, if you spend a little bit more time on this, you can make it look fairly realistic. And you can see if we look at our face count, it's 993, which is for, I don't know, I think 6 or 7 segments. So that's quite nice. All right. Well, cool. Have fun with this. Hopefully it will work out for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be glad to help if I can. Thanks. Bye.